Namaskaram. I am Ananya H. of Class 11 from Bhavans Rajaji Vidyashram. Good afternoon and welcome to all those who have joined this Great Masters program. We will begin the program with a short prayer by C. Shreya.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnamevavashishyate Ishavasyamidam sarvam Yatkinch jagatyam jagat Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha Ma gridhakasya svidanam Ya kundendu tusharaharadavana Ya shubhravastravrita Ya Veena-varadanda-manditakara Ya Shveta-padmasana Ya Brahma-chuta-shankara-pravritibhihi Devai sada vandita Sa Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Nisheshajaryapaha Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Thank you. SPIC MACAY, Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music, Art and Culture Among Youth, a volunteer-driven movement, was founded in 1977 by Dr. Kiran Seth. Its intention is to enrich the quality of formal education by increasing awareness about different aspects of Indian heritage and inspiring the young mind to imbibe the values embedded in it. The Great Masters program features a past great exponent of a classical form and is held on every Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. with an invited speaker sharing their personal experiences. Today's Great Masters program features Bharat Ratna, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi, and the speaker is Vidwan R.K. Shriramkumar. I now request our principal, Shri P.G. Subramanian sir, to deliver the welcome address.
Namaste. Am I audible, ma?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming all to this first initiative of our school with SPIC MACAY. Indeed, we feel that it is a great honor today for being part of this Great Masters program featuring none other than the Nightingale of India, Bharat Ratna Srimati M.S. Amma. If we talk about music, the first person comes to each and everyone's mind is none other than Yamasamma. Because starting from the early morning Suprabhatam or Vishnu Sahasranamam or any classical piece, if you say, her voice always lingers everywhere around the globe. She has dedicated her entire life for the music, for the sake of music. So we feel today we are honored and blessed to be the part of this great masters program featuring Samma. And a special note of welcome to Vidwan Shri R.K. Shriramkumar to this program to enlighten us with his experiences with Samma. I think definitely we can say that as a young listener or a fan of Samma, I've been attending to her lots and lots of concerts from my childhood. And I've seen many times Shri R.K. Shriramkumar accompanying Samma. And I can say that I think Shri Vidwan R.K. Shriramkumar will also accept with me that he was nurtured by Samma, and he is what he today because of our blessings. I think definitely he will also agree with me. So I think it is very apt today that Vidwan Shri R.K. Shriramkumar is amongst us, with us today to share his experiences. And he is also, to say about him, he is also a great scholar par excellence, a great musician who will just go into in-depth of each and every aspect of music, and who puts across things to people in a very easy way that they can understand everything, be it theoretical or make the rasikas to entertain them. I have been watching, I think if I can say, he's an integral part of Bhavans. So I think it is so apt today that he's also with us to our school, which is featuring with SPIC MACAY for the first time. So on behalf of the school, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's Rajaji Vidyashram, on behalf of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Chennai Kendra, and on my personal behalf, we extend a very warm welcome to Vidwan Shri R.K. Shriramkumar ji and all the participants, the volunteers of SPIC MACAY to this great masters program. Let us dedicate this program in honor of Srimati Samma, and we are very happy that though Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan is an organization which nurtures culture and tradition, due to some reasons, the school could not be associated with SPIC MACAY for the long. Let us not talk about the past now. Now it is a good beginning. The school has now started being part of the SPIC MACAY, and we will definitely continue to be part of SPIC MACAY and do many more programs for the next generation to know about our rich culture and tradition. Once again, a very warm welcome to one and all present here, and a big thanks to Sunita ma'am for giving us this opportunity. And once again, we welcome everyone to this program. Thank you. Namaskaram.
Thank you, sir. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaskaram to one and all. I consider myself blessed and privileged to introduce the great legendary musician of all times, the queen of music, the nightingale of India, a doyen of Carnatic music, Bharat Ratna, M.S. Subbulakshmi, fondly known as M.S. Amma. I begin this speech by offering my deep reverence to the great legend. Madurai Shanmukhavadivu Subbulakshmi was born on 16th September 1916. She started learning Carnatic music at an early age. Her mother, from the Devadasi community, was a music exponent and a regular stage performer. And M.S. Amma grew up in an environment very conducive to learning music. She trained under the tutelage of Sangeeta Kalanithy, Semmangudi Shri Srinivasa Iyer, and subsequently in Hindustani music under Pandit Narayan Rao Vyas. She gave her first public performance at the age of 11 in the year 1927 in Trichy, accompanied by the stalwarts Mysore Chaudaya on the violin and Dakshinamurthy Pillai on the mridangam. Thus began a magnificent era in the world of music. She first performed in the Madras Music Academy in 1929 at the age of 13, and by the age of 17, she was giving solo concerts at major venues. Her music crossed geographical and metaphorical borders. As India's cultural ambassador, she enthralled the world with her divine music. The most notable among them was her concert at the United Nations in New York in 1966, the first ever by an Indian. Her absolute, honest connection with music brought a galaxy of fans, including world leaders, fellow musicians, and rasikas alike. Mahatma Gandhi once commented that he would rather hear Subbulakshmi utter the lyrics of a song rather than hear someone else sing it. Even after MS Amma's fame spread wide and far, she had the humility to learn from many other musicians. In her illustrious career, she was accompanied by many great artists, including upcoming young talents. One such person is Shri R.K. Shriramkumar, our speaker today. MS Amma's music, steeped in bhakti and devotion, continues to be an essential part of many households, with her mellifluous rendition of the famous Bhaja Govindam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, and Venkateshwara Suprabhadam, to name a few. Her portrayal as Meera in the movie Meerabai was a great success and gave her true national recognition. During her lifetime, Srimati Subbulakshmi was honored with some of the most prestigious and esteemed awards. She became the first musician to be honored with the Bharat Ratna and the first Indian to receive the Raymond Magsaysay Award. She is the first woman to get the most prestigious award, Sangeeta Kalanidhi, from the Madras Music Academy. She was also honored with the Sangeet Natak Academy Award and the Indira Gandhi Award. Through all the honors, praise, and adulation, she remained humble and self-effacing. MS Amma was a true identity of Indian womanhood and a pioneer of women empowerment. She led by example and showed the way through her hard work, humility, and dedication. She lived life with the motto, earn to give. From all her charity concerts, royalties, she had managed to raise more than 1 crore rupees, which was a huge amount back then, and donated to charity organizations. MS Amma's message of love, compassion, and respect for all through her timeless art will continue to motivate several young artists for generations to come. I now request C. Shreya of Class 10 to introduce our respected speaker, Vidwan R.K. Shriramkumar.
Namaskaram to everyone present here. I am C. Shreya and consider it a privilege to introduce the eminent Carnatic violinist and much sought after accompanist, Shri R.K. Shriramkumar. Shri R.K. Shriramkumar belongs to a family of eminent Carnatic musicians who hail from Rudrapatna. His grandfather, Shri R.K. Venkatrama Shastri, a veteran violinist, was one of the most respected musicians of the music fraternity and trained him in vocal music and violin. He later received guidance in violin from Vidwan Shri V.V. Subramaniam and in vocal music from Sangeeta Kalanidhi Shri D.K. Jayaraman. Vidwan Shriramkumar began his concert career in 1981 and has since carved a niche for himself, gaining much proficiency, acclaim, stature, and popularity among musicians and music lovers alike. His skills were further honed through association and learning he gained by accompanying many doyens of Carnatic music. He has had the blessed opportunity of participating in a very unique recording entitled Divine Unison, featuring the great veterans Shri Semmangudi Srinivasa Iyer and Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi. Shri Shriramkumar's concert experience includes performances for many prestigious organizations in India and abroad. Besides being an accompanist par excellence who elevates the vocalist performance, he is also an accomplished soloist. A combination of musical insight, extensive repertoire, wisdom, and experiences, as well as fresh simplicity and humor, draws many an upcoming musician to consider him as their mentor while they launch their musical career. He is also much sought after for his lucid and engaging presentations on Carnatic music that span a wide range of topics, particularly on Sri Muthuswami Dikshita's compositions. Awards and titles to his credit include the Yuvakala Bharati, the Kalki Krishnamurti Memorial Award, the Vani Kala Sudhakara, and the Isai Peroli. We are very glad to have you for the program, sir, and we welcome you.
I now kindly request Vidwan R.K. Shriramkumar to talk about today's great master, Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi.
Thank you, Ananya. Am I audible? Does it sound okay?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Thank you, SPIC MACAY, for inviting me to this memorable session. And much thanks to Bhavan's Rajaji Vidyashram. Thank you, Subramanian sir, for your kind words. And thank you, Ananya and Shreya. It is such a pleasure and honor to talk about one of the greatest musicians this country has ever seen, Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi. And it has been such a blessed fortune, such a blessing in my life to have been associated with her, to have had the opportunity to learn from her, have the opportunity to accompany her in many concerts. And it's such a great blessing. And I think all of us, each one of us, owe a deep sense of gratitude to such a great Vidushi such as Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi for the blissful music and for all the happiness and joy that she has given us. She was fondly and very reverentially addressed as MS Amma, and most of you know many things about her life, about her music. It is just that this session will be a recap in the small little time that we have today of what the values that she stood for and her contribution to this great form called Carnatic music. Amma was born in Madurai in the year 1916, September 16th, 1916. And she grew up in Madurai in an atmosphere, in an ambience of music. Her mother, Shanmukhavadi, she was a great Vainika, and she was a very respected Vainika, and many musicians came to her home to listen to her. In fact, her recording, the 78 RPM recording of the Kurunji Padam Shivadiksha Paru is very famous. And Amma's father, Subramania Iyer, was a reputed advocate in Madurai, and he used to conduct the Ramanavami festivals in a great way. And on the day of Ramanavami, he used to keep the idol of or the photograph of Rama, and a procession would happen. And Amma has told me that she would insist as a little girl to be seated next to Rama on the chariot when the procession happened. So, and it is through him and through her mother, she imbibed the very intense feeling of bhakti, bhakti to God, bhakti to the art form. And she grew up in such a musical ambience. Music was always part of the home. And her siblings, Shaktivel, her brother, he used to play the mridangam. And her sister used to sing, and she learned a bit of playing the violin as well. And Amma, as she was bestowed with one of the greatest and most loveliest voices in the history of Carnatic music. Her shariram, or her voice, was sonorous. It was the timbre of her voice never faded until the end of her life. And it was always perfectly seated in Shruti. And that gift of the voice that she had, she never abused her voice. She never abused, or she never did things that would affect the voice. She always took she took great care of her voice. And the practice that she adopted to keep her voice in good shape and to be in Shruti always, never she would move away from Shruti. In fact, this used to be a game when she was young. She used to play the tambura and sing with it for some time. And as a little girl, when she was in Madurai, she used to play this game. She used to play the tambura and sing along with it for some time, then stop the tambura, then just hum and sing and do other things. And after some time, sing again, and then check, then play the tambura again and check whether she was in Shruti, and she would be in perfect Shruti. That is the kind of Shruti consciousness that she had. Her rendition was always in Shruti, because being in Shruti is of paramount importance. Shruti and Laya are integral parts, and they are very, very important to any musician, because being in Shruti and being in Laya enhances the beauty of the music, and the experience is complete and wholesome. So when Amma sang with the two tamburas along with her, Lakshmi and Saraswati, her two tamburas were called Lakshmi and Saraswati. They were two Trivandrum tamburas, very beautiful tamburas that were presented to her by her guru, Sri Shamaguri Srinivasa Iyer. And one of them had an ivory carving of Lakshmi, and the other had an ivory carving of Saraswati. So the tamburas were called Lakshmi and Saraswati. And Amma, in all her concerts, she used to sing with both of these tamburas and along with the Shruti box. And her voice sounded like the third tambura. So the importance of Shruti. So she did not take her voice for granted. She always regarded her voice very sacred. And to be in Shruti and to cultivate that easy and beautiful way of singing, she adopted a lot of practice methods. Every day she used to sing the akarams, every single day. It never mattered to her whether she was a Sangeeta Kalanidhi or whether she was a Bharat Ratna, or nothing touched her. When it came to music, she surrendered completely to the art. And every single day she used to practice at home. And she used to sing the akarams. And the way she accentuated her voice, the way she her diction, the way she used her voice to sing the akarams, it was a delight to see that. She would sing the akarams in Maya Mada Kovulai and Shankarabharanam, and along with the tambura, her voice sounded so perfect in Shruti. And it was a practice that every music student should learn and understand, because it keeps your voice in good shape and it allows it makes the voice sing all kinds of gamakas, because gamaka is what is integral to Indian music. So all kinds of gamakas, it could be a jaru, it could be a madhyamakala, it could be a birka, it could be a racy, speedy passage, or it could be a long carve. Every kind of gamaka you must be able to produce every kind of gamaka to sing Carnatic music. That is very important. So, Amma, with her practice methods and with the way of her singing, the optimum way, the way she would articulate her voice, the way she would open her mouth, the way she would throw the voice, the way she would project her voice in perfect shruti. She would not yell or she would not whisper. It was the optimum, perfect way of a rendition of a composition of or a raga. So in that way, her voice production was so beautiful and perfect. And I can actually sing and show you I'll sing a small passage of how she would sing the akarams. She would sing like this. This is a small little snippet from that session. She would have the tambura, and every single note. Sustain on every single note in akara, and the akara had to be like that, not no other sound. Every note had to be in place. Every jaru had to be in shruti. Padanima, Padaniga, Padaniri, every single note had to be in shruti. All should gradually increase his speed and sing all the birkas and all. It would start with a karve, sing jaru, sing birkas, and it would include every kind of damaka possible. And this was a daily routine in her life. Every single day she would sing this. So that way she kept her voice in good shape until the end of her life. That is very important because we kind of just say, oh, MS Subbulakshmi, she had a great voice. That's it. No. She took a lot of effort. She put in diligent practice to keep that voice in good shape. She would not yell. She was always very soft spoken. She would never raise her voice. She would never eat spicy food. She would never eat at odd hours, because that everything matters to keep your voice in good shape. And it is not just about your voice. Again, we just kind of say, oh, MS Amma, she had a good voice. She had a good voice. No. It is not just about the voice. Yes, you need a very good voice to present the music, but it's not just the voice. And the music that she presented was completely blissful and so very endearing. Everything that she sang, whatever form, she kept up the integrity. She was so faithful, and she kept up the integrity of the form that she sang. In Carnatic music, each music, be it Carnatic or Hindustani, each one has its own gamaka idioms. Each one has its own rules and aesthetics, and each one has its own beauty. So when Amma sang the ragas in the Carnatic system, be it any raga, be it grand ragas like Shankarabharanam, Kamhoji, Kalyani, Bhairavi, or be it ragas like Purvi Kalyani or Varali or Pantavarali or Ananda Bhairavi or Riti Gaula or Edikula Kamhoji or Kedar Gaula, be it any kind of raga, she kept up the integrity of the raga. She kept up that sound, that Carnatic sound that each raga demanded. She kept up all those gamakams intact. And when she sang the gamakas, she would recommend, like when she sang Shankarabharanam, she she would never sing an excess gamakam there. Sari, that's it. Never that. So she was very, very particular about that. Particular about singing the optimum level of the gamakam. She would never sing more than 2 or 3 glides there. So everything she would take such meticulous care to sing the gamaka so perfectly. So when she sang, she sang so naturally. And every the raga alapana was studded with karveis. Karve is sustaining on a note. Okay, and when she sustained on a note, it would be perfect Shruti. When she sustained on the Tarasthai Shadja like that, or Tarasthai Gandhara, or Panchama like that, and when she would sing a raga alapana around that phrase, it would be a beautiful development of the raga there. And the raga alapana included such sustained karveis, madhyamakala, and racy birkas as well. And everything she would never overdo. Everything was in perfect proportion. And so raga came to life with her singing. Every raga had its identity with its characteristic gamakas. When she sang a raga alapana, so there was no ambiguity of any phrasing that she sang. The raga would just come to life when she sang. Similarly, when she rendered the compositions, any composition for that matter, be it any language, she has sung. Of course, Carnatic music has compositions in Sanskritam, in Telugu, in Tamil, in Kannada, and a few in Malayalam as well. So, predominantly, Carnatic music compositions are in these 5 languages. Other than this, she has rendered the compositions of great saints and composers. And once I in fact, took account of all the composers that she has handled, and the list runs to more than 200. And it's a pan-Indian experience. She has sung from every nook and corner of this country. She has sung compositions of the Tamil traditions, the Devaram, Divya Prabandham. She has sung the compositions of the Haridasas, of the Arva, of the Varkari saints, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Meera, of Tukaram, of Surdas, and you name it, at the Abhangas of the Varkari tradition, the Shabads of Sant Khalas from the Sikh tradition, and you name it, and she has sung everything. The beauty is, every composition that she sang, she took great care to master how to pronounce the words in those languages. She has sung in Bengali, Urdu, Oriya, and Hindi, then Gujarati, then Marathi, then Malayalam, all the South Indian languages. So many. In fact, she cut an album singing songs in 10 different languages, and that album actually was a fundraiser. The royalty of that album went to the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and she has sung compositions in Urdu. She has sung compositions in Bengali. None of these was her mother tongue. She was Tamil speaking, but she took great efforts to learn from an expert as to how to pronounce these words. Because pronouncing a word in Bengali is very, very different from pronouncing it in Tamil. Why go to Bengali? Pronouncing it Tamil is very different from pronouncing it in Kannada. In Tamil, we don't sometimes say the oo completely, like idadu padam thokiyadum, idadu padam thokiyadum, idadu. You don't say idadu padam thoki. You don't say this in Tamil. It is idadu padam thokiyadum. But in Kannada, naneke badavanu, naneke paradeshi, naneke badavanu. That too has to be complete there. You cannot sing naneke badavanu like that in Kannada, because the language is like that. Each language is very beautiful. Each strain of every single language is beautiful. So we have to respect that language and the strain of that language. So Amma, when she rendered all these compositions, she would consult experts. She would, in fact, in her notebooks, she would write down the meaning of every single word of the composition. And she would master how to pronounce these words, and above all, sing them with that accent and with that pronunciation. We can just read it, but to sing it becomes even more difficult. And she did it very natural. And so when she understood the meaning of these words, naturally the sentiment, the emotion of the composition comes through even better. So when she sang, the emotion of the composition came through so beautifully, because she understood the meaning of the words when she sang. It was not a rendition that was just mechanical without understanding what the composition meant, because each composer had a sentiment, had an emotion packed into the composition. So when she sang, it brought out the emotion of the composition, the sentiment of the composer, the bliss of the raga and the musicality of the composition, all rolled into one. So every single program, every single kacheri that she sang, she took so much efforts to present every single concert very well. It was not like she has sung for a prayer, she has sung for weddings, she has sung for huge audiences in concerts, she has sung fundraisers, but she would never take any occasion very lightly. Even for a prayer, she would master the composition, sing it umpteen number of times before she presented. If she was singing in a wedding for a unjal, she would again sing it a few times at home and then go and sing it. And it was not like whatever she presented it with utmost sincerity and utmost passion for the art and the art form. So in Amma's music, every aspect of music, be it raga alapana, be it kriti singing, be it her Neraval singing, when she sang Neraval in Orangashahi, I was hearing the Orangashahi as it was being played during the sound check. That Buhaloka Vaikuntam that she sang, that line, she would sing Neraval in that line. And Neraval in other kritis such as Ojaga Journey, where she would sing a beautiful Kalyani Neraval. All her Neravals would be packed with that kind of emotion and that raga bhava there. And when she sang Swarams, again, it was yet another display of raga. It was not like just repeating swaras like mechanical reproduction of just saying the swaras. And she never believed in singing kanak or mathematical patterns, but she sang Sarvalugu swaras mostly, and she sang a lot of Ragam Tanam Pallavis as well. And all of this, she has rendered every kind of composition in Carnatic music. A beat, a varnam, beat, a Atatala varnam. We have to listen to her singing the Viriboni varnam, the whole varnam in the 2 speeds. There's this LP record where she has rendered Viriboni varnam in 2 speeds, and the male column, the second column is so perfect. The layam and the placement of the syllables and her shruti, everything, the raga, bhairavi, everything is intact. So it's extremely difficult to sing like that. And she sings it so very naturally as well. And because of all her efforts and her heart and soul into the music, it comes out so beautifully. So singing a varnam, she has rendered many varnams. She has sung innumerable number of compositions, kritis, padams, javalis, ragam tanam pallavis, virtams, then many Hindustani pieces as well. She learned Hindustani from, she learned of Hindustani pieces from Siddheshwari Devi and Parinaran Ravyas and other people. In fact, during the peak of her career, Siddheshwari Devi came and stayed with Amma in Kalki Gardens, and she has narrated how she learned from Siddheshwari Devi. Amma and Radhaka, her daughter, both of them would have to sing in front of her, and Siddheshwari Devi would do her daily japa, daily prayers. She would keep a rosary bead, the japa mala in her hand, and she would be doing japa, and Amma had to just sing akaram. And mind you, she was at the peak of her career. She was the great MS Subbulakshmi, and she was sitting at the feet of Siddheshwari Devi with no ego. No, she had no ego hassles. She never put herself in front. She always projected the music in front. She never, humility, the other name for humility is Srimati MS Subbulakshmi. Humility was synonymous with her. She never, all these awards and all her accolades and recognition, nothing touched her. All that mattered to her was music. And all that when she sang for the art. So Amma's philanthropy is very, very well known. She has donated so much with her music for a million number of causes. And Ananya just said that it was it came up to 1 crore. No, actually it went up to 4 crores. And that is something amazing. And she never spoke about it as well. And her music, again, as I said, it brought about such happiness and joy to everybody. The way she sang, the way she rendered every composition. To render a kriti is different from rendering a padam. And it is very different from rendering a bhajan or an abhanga or a Rabindra Sangeet. So you have to adopt that kind of articulation. So that when you sing a kriti, singing a kriti is very, you cannot use the same articulation to sing a padam. You cannot use the same kind of articulation to sing an abhanga or a bhajan. And when she sang Carnatic music, when she sang these ragas, she kept up the integrity of Carnatic music completely. Never in her renditions you will find a Shakarabharanam going astray, or a Kambhoji going astray, or a Bhairavi going astray. Similarly, when she sang abhangas or pada or bhajans, when she sang Morito Giridhar Gopal, when she sang Haritumaharu, you will never find that raga, that Hindustani raga going astray. She kept up that integrity of that raga. So we kind of normally take things for granted. Sometimes we sing Shankara, we bring in other influences into that form of music under the pretext of innovation or newer ideas or whatever. But everything can be done not at the cost of the integrity of the art. And she always kept up that. When she sang Shankarabharanam was in complete full splendor. All the gamakas of Shankarabharanam was intact. All the gamakas of Bhairavi was intact when she sang Bhairavi Ragam, or Bhairavi Tanam, or Bhairavi Kriti, or a Ragam Tanam Pallavi, everything. So, and when coming to the, I was talking about how she used to learn the language or pronounce the words. So, especially when she sang Sanskritam, the Alpa Prana and Mahaprana that she sang, in Sanskritam, that's very important. So, for example, if you have to say something like Akshaya Linga Vibho Swayam Bho, that Swayam Bho, Prabho, Vibho, that Bha has to be heard in Sanskrit. Akshaya Linga Vibho, not Bo there, it's Bho. Because that is the language. The language demands that. And it is beautiful to sing like that. And you don't deliberately or you don't like stress it too hard also. Then it becomes extremely contrite. Akshaya Linga Vibho. You don't sing that. You have to sing it very naturally as well. Vibho Swayam Bho Akhila khas should be heard there. It is not Akhila, it's not ka there, it is kha. So when you sing Tamil, that for example, Ishani Pirakashani. Ishani. You should not sing Ishani or Pirakashani. It's or something. For example, in Pachai Mamalai Pol Meni Pavalavai Kamana Chengan Achyuta Amararere Ayartham Hurunde. That Ra is very important to Tamil. So you cannot sacrifice these words. So that is why when you listen to her rendition of the Venkatesha Suprabhatam or the Vishnu Sahasrama especially, you will not find one syllable out of place. And she has rendered it so many times before she recorded. Amma and Radhaka, both of them have rendered it, and they have rendered it in such unison that you will not even realize that Radhaka is singing along with Amma. She is yet another great musician who sang so beautifully with Amma, and both of them sounded just one voice. And in the Vishnu Sahasranam record, except for the Nama, Amani Manado Manyo, only then you will hear Radhaka's voice there, and only then you will even realize that Radhaka is along with her there. So it is, and from start to finish, it is in the same Kala Pramana. You don't have a Mridangam there, it is not set to Tala, but in spite of it, from start to finish, you will never find a change in Kala Pramana, which means it is, she had that Laya Prajna. It was in complete Laya. It was in such perfect Laya. And so that is extremely important to have that kind of Shruti Shuddham and that kind of Laya Shuddham. So every Kriti was always rendered like that. When she sang in concerts, she sang so happily along with her accompanists. She would always share the joy with her accompanists. She would appreciate each one of them so heartily in the concerts. And it was a delight to be with her on stage. And as an youngster, I had the opportunity, blessed opportunity, to play for her when I was in my 20s. So I was such a small boy playing with her, and she would teach with her eyes, or even on stage, and she would, like, the kind of care and affection that she always imparted, not just to music, but even to life. She would take great care in imparting, in shaping up people. Like, I was very fortunate enough to get those advices from her. Amma would insist on a lot of things. Every like a small little girl, she would ask for every detail. For my outstation concert, she would ask me, "Etana maniki train?" She would ask me, "What time is the train? And where are you going to stay? And what are you doing for food? And did you ask what they are going to sing? And if they sing for 5 minutes, you have to play for 3 minutes." So all these advices. And Shruti Shuddhama Vashikino, Apri Vashikino, and in the Mari time all, every small little thing she'll take care of, and she will ask and she will inquire. And that is the kind of affection that she had for people. It's not just for me, for everybody around her. Everybody around her always felt very special, because she would make them feel very, very special. With all, that's why she would radiate so much positive energy and so much love to everybody around her. And her music has given joy to millions all over the world. And I don't know how much more time I have here. I would love to answer a few questions if there are any. Sunita, is it fine, or can I?
Yeah, we are moving on to the questions now. Yeah, there are questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. We are waiting for her music as well. So,
okay.
And as I said, her music will speak for itself. And it is so, every aspect of her music, every single aspect of her personality, it's not just her music. It is personality, all round personality, her being, her the way she dressed up, way she spoke, way she like her food schedule, everything was delightful. And everything is a lesson for all of us to imbibe. And as children, I think all of you should definitely look up to her and be inspired by her. She is definitely a great inspiration for generations and for all times. And I really thank SPIC MACAY, Sunita, and Shri Subramaniam sir and Bhavan Siddhyashram for inviting me. And this is such a very talking about Amma is always such a pleasure and joy. And talking about Amma is although it's also very emotional and very touching for me. And thank you for inviting me to say these few words. Over to the questions.
The interaction session will begin with Sarvalakshana of class 6.
My sincere pranams to you, sir. First of all, I thank God for this golden opportunity to know about MS Amma through you, sir. So here's my question. We all know that MS Amma has sung in so many languages with ease. This quality of hers make all of us wonder. May I please know how would she learn and practice?
Yeah, I told you no. Her Tamil was her mother tongue. So, but every other language she learned from experts. She would invite an expert. She would ask them how to pronounce the words in that language, be it any language, Telugu or Kannada or Malayalam or Bengali or Urdu or Marathi or Hindi or Awadhi or any language. She would consult these experts and write down the meaning for each word. And she would internalize the meaning of the song. And when she sang it so seamlessly, so beautifully, so naturally. So it would, when she sang, especially when she sang all these Bengali, she had a guru whose name was called Shriramkumar Roy, who taught her a lot of his Bengali songs. And there's a record where Shriramkumar Roy and MS Amma, both of them sing Vande Mataram together. Vande Mataram is not just the 2 verses that we sing daily. It is a complete Vande Mataram. So it's a different tune and it's very nice to listen. So that is how she internalized it. That is how she learned all the songs in other languages. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your vivid explanation, sir.
Thank you, Sarvalakshana.
Welcome, sir.
Next, we have Sharada Manikandan of class 7.
Namaskaram, sir. What are Amma's favorite ragams and kritis?
Sorry?
What were MS Amma's favorite ragams and kritis?
She did not have particular favorite ragams. She was always fond of the Rakti ragams. And Shankarabharanam was kind of synonymous with her because she has sung Shankarabharanam in innumerable number of concerts. And in fact, almost all the big compositions in Shankarabharanam she has rendered. Be it Enduku Peddala, Swaraka Sudharasa, Kshailingavibho, Dakshinamurte, Sarojadara Netri, then Bhogadir Lauranga, then and Indumukhi Varnam, then many compositions in Brihadamba, in Shankarabharanam, Sri Shrimuka Janaka, all in Shankaracharyam, all these. So the big grand compositions she has rendered in kacheris, and she was not particularly fond of any raga, this particular raga, but she was always preferred to sing these Rakti ragams like Shankarabharanam, Todi, Bhairavi, Kalyani, Kambhoji, all these Kedara Gavala, Insurati, Purvi Kalyani, Patturali, these type of ragam. She was not too fond of singing ragas of like something the Vivadi types or something like that. Or the newer scales, she was not too fond of singing on. But she has rendered compositions in Vivadi ragas as well. But not as much as the Rakti ragas that she has had.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Chinmayi of class 7.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
Amma's Kartinile Varum Geetam is an evergreen hit. Have you seen Rasikas asking her to sing this or other such famous songs in concerts? How would she react to such requests?
Yes, she has sung Kartinile Varum Geetam in concerts as also. It is a very, it is a composition of Shri Kalki Krishnamurti. And see, these songs have a very classical base, and all the songs that Amma has rendered in movies also have a very, very classical base. It's that they were different times. So, for example, Bruhi Mukundeti was rendered in the film Savitri that she acted. She acted as Narada in the film Savitri. So she rendered Maname Ganamam Maravade in that a composition of Papanasham Shivan. She also rendered Bruhi Mukundeti, which is a composition of Sadashiva Brahmendra in the movie. So Maname Ganamam became a very popular composition in concerts. My guru D.K. Jayaraman used to sing it in all concerts. So it was they could sing that because it had a classical base and it gelled well with the Carnatic repertoire. And the people, they used to request Amma to sing these songs, but she used to sing the Kartinile Varum Geetam occasionally in concerts. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chinmayi.
Next is Shreya C of class 10.
Namaskaram, sir.
Your prayer was very nice.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my question is, while playing for MS Amma as a young artist and student, how did you react to her flashes of brilliance made on stage?
Very nice question. To be honest, Shreya, we can never match up to her singing. I can never match up to her singing. It is absolute joy, and you're always in wonderment when you play for her, when you sit next to her, and when you actually witness her sing in concerts. Because every time she sang, for example, she used to sing Enta Matramana in every kacheri. Every single kacheri, she used to sing Enta Matramana. And that Enta Matramana, I also know the composition. I have played for it a million times. But every single time, it would be a fresh experience. Every single time, it would appear that you are hearing it for the first time. So that is the kind of ambience that she would create. That is the kind of energy that she would create. It all comes with her dedication to the art and the way she sings and the way she puts her heart and soul to the music. And it is extremely difficult to match her. All that you can, and you have to be very, very alert. You have to really pray and play, because she would always be in perfect Shruti. So any note that she sustained, any Sangati that she sang, it would all be in perfect Shruti. And you also had to be in perfect Shruti. And Amma, she also wanted the violinist to play the song along with her completely. So if you hear the recordings of my guru, Shri V.V. Subramaniam, playing with Amma, you will know what I'm trying to say. V.V.S. sir has played exactly like the way she sings the kritis. So you will hear a third voice singing along with. So the way he played along with her, Amma used to she used to like it very much, and she expected that of the violinist. So she wanted. So that way, she has taught me a lot of compositions, and every single small nuance. For example, she would pause in a line, so she would want me also to pause there, not play the bow, not. She would expect that silence there from me also. So that is the way it would work. Yeah, and you always learn so many things observing her on stage.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
It was always a learning experience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shreya.
Next is Harshita of class 7.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
What was MS Amma's influence in your musical journey, sir? What did she mean to you, sir?
Yeah, see, I've grown up with her music since from the time I was born. Okay, so she has always had a very strong presence in my music, in my personality, and she still continues to inspire, and I continue to learn from her. And but most important thing that you learn from her before you learn the music is her attitude to life. That humility, that no ego hassles, nothing. You don't, to keep your feet always on the ground, to be soft-spoken, to be kind to others, to be affectionate to everybody. That is what you learn from her, the first lesson. Then you learn the music. And of course, the music is always a striking, it leaves a very, very, very indelible mark in you. For me, I've always looked up to her, and I've learned so much from her and from her recordings as well. And every single raga that I play, or any music that I play, I always keep her in mind. She actually guides me in my mind, and yeah, so her direction is always there, and I look up to her at all times. Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The question was, can you share any memorable offstage experience with MS Amma as a person?
There are many, many like that. Okay. Amma was extremely religious. Okay. In a week, she had 7 days of vratam. So every day was some vratam, and she would not have Iniki Shadam Vanta because Inik Shashti, tomorrow Thursday, so Adha Vanta, so everything, all of that. And once she was singing at Bombay, and we stayed at the Raj Bhavan in Bombay. And another thing, when all of us traveled together. Traveling with Amma is such a delight. Amma and Mama, Sadashiva Mama would, all of us would travel by train. And the AC compartment, we would take, we would occupy about 2 cubicles because we were almost 8 of us or whatever. So, and she would bring food from home, not just for all of us, but for the TTA attendants and of the AC coach, of the TT, everybody, almost practically everybody in that compartment would have food here. So, so we were staying at the Raj Bhavan, and that day there was chapati for dinner, and chapati in Bombay, you see, they make lovely chapatis, and they made superb chapatis, and dal was there, sabji. I don't eat onion or garlic, so they made onion less, garlic less sabji and dal. It was very nice. I just had chapati. I did not have rice that night. So just had chapati, and I was about to get up to wash my hands. Amma was sitting next to me, and she said, "Shadam pottuko," which means have some rice. Illamma, shadam venda. I had asked for a glass of buttermilk that night. So I said, Shadam vandam. I don't want rice. I'm full with chapatis. I'll just have some milk, buttermilk. That's enough. So நீங்க வந்து சாதம் வேண்டாம். I said, இல்ல சாதம் போட்டுக்கணும் அப்படி. அம்மா வேண்டாம் சாதம் பசிக்கல இருக்கு சப்பாத்தியே ஃபுல்லா இருக்குமா சாதம் வேண்டாம். I said, no rice please. I'm already full with chapati, so please. So she kind of, she guessed that I'm not going to have rice that night. So what she did, there was rice on the table. She took a spoon, she took some rice, a spoon of rice, and put it into buttermilk cup. I was kind of, why no? What's the big deal? Why? So she's giving me an explanation for that. See, by the time I came and washed my hand, she had already put 1 spoon of rice into the that buttermilk. I asked her, what ma why? இல்ல இன்னைக்கு அமாவாசையே, so சாதம் நீ தர்ப்பணம் பண்ணல எனக்கு சாதம் சாப்பிடாம இருக்க கூடாது. She was so that day was அமாவாசையே, and apparently I had to have rice that night because I had not done tarpanam. So I had to, that is the religious rule. So she had to make me eat rice somehow. So she put that 1 spoon of rice into the butter. This might seem a very trivial story, but the fact is that she took so much care and affection. This is an act of affection, complete affection. And this is an act of care. So since she believed so very religiously, and I'm also religious, so she wanted to keep up that dictum of you should not go without rice that night. So I had to have that spoon of rice. This is the one, just small. There are many other stories like this. And every time she taught, she would insist on the gamakas. And when she taught with such diligence. Every sangati had to be mastered before you move on to the next sangati. All of that, memorable moments. Yeah, there are many other stories. I don't think we'll have time now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The next. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, in fact, in Madras, in Sringeri Acharya, Sri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswami was camping in Madras, and Amma sang for the Sharada Chandramodishwar Puja in Sringeri Bharati Vidyashram in Venkatara. So after the puja, Acharya gave prasadam to Amma and Mama. And she very well could have received it and just moved on. But she made sure, she told Acharya, and she recommended all of us to, she actually told Acharya that you have to bless all of them like how you blessed me. See, that is the kind of generosity that she had. She could have just walked off having received prasadam. No. She made sure that all of us get the same kind of blessing from Acharya. Very touching moments. I love that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your experience. The next question is by Diya Prasad of class 6.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram, Diya.
Namaskaram, sir. Can you please share with us any challenging situation that MS Amma encountered, and how did she deal with that situation, sir?
Challenging situation. Yeah, Amma has actually spoken about it also. See, in her life itself, she had seen a lot of ups and downs in her life, but everything she took it into her stride, and she was a very, very strong-willed person. She had a very strong grit, and all of that came with such grace. Nothing was brash about her. And any trying moment in her life, she always kind of reconciled to it, and she handled it with much grace, and she went past it also. This particular incident, she has spoken about it also. Amma was touring the US, and the final concert was at the United Nations in 1966. So just before the concert, she kind of she says that she kind of lost her voice. She couldn't even, like, no sound came out of her voice. And it was such a reputed concert. It was such a memorable occasion and a very important occasion, singing in the United Nations. And she was completely like grounded. She didn't know what to do. And she said that it is at that time she prayed, she offered her prayers to the Mahaswamigal of Kanchi Kamapati Pitha, Shri Chandrasekhara Saraswati Mahaswamigal. And she, in fact, even before she left Madras, she went and took his blessings, and apparently Mahaswamigal said that which means you will be victorious and all will go well. And she, before the United Nations concert, when she was in a fix like this, she actually remembered that she prayed and she offered intense prayers. And when she came to the stage in the United Nations, when she opened her mouth, miraculously she regained her voice. So she would always talk about that. Yeah. And she was extremely devoted and very God-fearing. And so she always attributed all of her success to the divine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, dear.
The next question is by Kirtana Giridhar of class 8.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
What was MSMR's big contribution towards spreading music amongst children?
Amongst children? Yes. See, that's a very nice question. See, Amma did not like go to every school or every college to teach students. But the way she sang brought everybody, everybody was drawn to that music. And most importantly, apart from all the concerts that she sang, she released all these LP records which have these beautiful stotras. Ganesh Pacharatam, Durga Pacharatam, Rama Ramayana, Hanuman Chalisa, all of this. These are all stotras that children can learn immediately. And with Amma's rendition, it is a kind of osmosis. Children will just absorb very easily the rasa of bhakti and the rasa of sangeeta, both. So children can all sing along with her very easily. That is the way she sings. So Mudakarata Modakam, if you listen to Amma's record, you will immediately learn it. Vishnu Sahasranamam, if you listen to Amma's record, you will immediately learn it. So that is the way children get introduced to music. And once you learn all these small, beautiful songs, you can always develop it more into learning bigger compositions.
Thank you, sir.
So all of those stotrams, the Madhurashtakam, Ganesh Pancharatam, Durga Pancharatam, Nama Ramayana, Hanuman Chalisa, all of that. Because as children, I remember growing up with all of that. I cannot sing Ganesh Pancharatam in any other tune. Never. So that is the impact that she creates on young minds.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Janani Ratna of class 8.
Namaskaram, sir.
Hello, Janani.
According to you, what is MSMR's role in taking Carnatic music to the world stage, sir?
Can't hear you properly, Janani. Say it again, please.
According to you, what is MSMR's role in taking Carnatic music to the world stage, sir?
Yeah. That's why. That's what I said. No, Amma did not make any other special effort to take it outside. She just sang. And her music was so charming that it actually transcended borders. People who never knew what Carnatic music could relate to her music, could relate to her singing. Okay. And when she sang in international venues, when she sang at the United Nations, for example, she did not compromise on the quality of the music. She did not compromise on the Shankarabharanam that she sang in the United Nations. It was the same Shankarabharanam that she would sing in the Music Academy. Or she was the same Shankarabharanam she would sing for any learned audience in India. Just because it was the United Nations, it was in America, and you have a foreign audience there, she did not compromise on the music at all. She did not compromise on any raga or any composition that she sang. She sang Aurangashai at Carnegie Hall in New York. And the Kambhoji is intact. Aurangashai is intact. But everybody was spellbound and drawn to the music. So, which means the music is beyond all borders or all people or everything. It just if it is presented well, if it is rendered well, if it is rendered with sincerity and such love and dedication, everybody will listen to it and everybody will be drawn to it. That is how she took Carnatic music or Indian music to all over the globe. That is why she is Bharat Ratna.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Next is the last question from Samyukta of class 7.
Namaskaram, sir. What were MS Amma's other hobbies and interests?
Nice question. See, Amma was always completely dedicated to the art. And she was, anything otherwise she did was also connected with music. And she was very fond of perfume. And she had all these small chinna ashaygal. Like whenever I visited Madurai for a concert, she would tell me, Meenakshi darshanam pannama varade. I have to go see Meenakshi and come. Point number 1. Point number 2, she loved the red and green bangles, glass bangles that you get at Meenakshi temple there. So she would happily, I would buy them for I would definitely buy them for her and she would happily wear them. So she was fond of glass bangles. She was fond of mallipu, jasmine flowers, and she was fond of perfume and other interests. Like sometimes she used to listen to other concerts on the TV and on the radio. And yeah, pretty much, and her whole day would be completely with music, always. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
With this, we come to the end of the question answer session. Thank you so much, sir, for patiently answering and sharing your experiences. We will now listen to excerpts from the recordings of Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi. I request everyone to mute their audio and video to enable smooth streaming. Over to the technical team of SPIC MACAY.
निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
pada ma pa ga ma pa da pa 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 gama kamala. Da ba ma ga ma ba da ba ma ga ma ba da ba ma ga ni da ni sa re ga ma ga ma la. Da ba da ma ba da ba ma ga ma ba da ni da ba ma ga ma ba da ni da ni da ni sa ni da ba ma ga ni da sa re ga ma ga ma la. Da ma ba da ba ma ga ma ba da ba ma ga ni da ni sa re ga ma ba da ni da ni da ba ma ga ni da ni sa re da ni sa re ga ma ba da ba ma ga ni sa re ga ma ba da ba ma ga ma ba da ni sa ni da ba da ni sa ni sa ni da ni da ni da ni da ni da ba ma ga ni ga ma da ma la. Gauri Vagishwari రుంచినాను అన్నిటికి రుంచినాను అన్నిటికి రుంచినాను అన్నిటికి దాసుడని నేను నీదు పైన రుంచినాను అన్నిటికి దాసుడని నేను నీదు పైన రుంచినాను అన్నిటికి దాసుడని నేను చిరాను అన్నిటికి దాసుడని నేను నీదు పైన చిరాను గజీభూత madani baba gabari gabani mada nidani dani baba gabari gabani madani baba gabari dani gabani madani baba gabari dani gabari dani dani baba gabari dani dani gabani madani gabani dani gabani madani dani dani baba gabari gabani madani dani gabani dani dani baba gabari dani gabani madani dani ranu chiranu anetiki nita kudani renu idu painanu chiranu కలిలో మాటలు నేర్చుకొని కాంతలను తనయుల బ్రోచుటకై కలిలో మాటలు నేర్చుకొని కాంతలను తనయుల బ్రోచుటకై కలిలో మాటలు నేర్చుకొని కాంతలను తనయుల బ్రోచుటకై శీలాగ్ముడై పలుగా Gabari gabani madani baba gabari gabani madani dani dani baba gabari gabani madani baba gabari dani gabani madani baba gabari dani gabari dani dani baba gabari dani dani madani gabani dani gabani madani dani dani baba gabari gabani madani dani gabani dani dani baba gabari dani gabani madani dani gannaru chiraru annetiki nita chudani renu idu painanu chiranu நற்றவத்த நமச்சிவாயத்தை நான் மறவேனே. நற்றவத்தவர் உள்ளிருந்தோம் நமச்சிவாயத்தை நமச்சிவாயத்தை நான் மறவேனே. நான் மறவேனே மறவேனே. ஆரார் ஆசைப்படார் இல்பதத்து கரார். ஆசைப்படார் இல்பதத்து கரார். ஆசைப்படார் இல்பதத்து கரார். ஆசைப்படார் இல்பதத்து கரார். ஆசைப்படார் ஆசைப்படார் இல்பதத்து கரார். அருள் பாராய் பரந்தாராய் துயர் தீராய் புலியூராய் நில்பதத்து கரார். ஆசைப்படார் கனகமேனியன் பனக சயனன். 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 கஞ்சமுடன் பதஞ்சலி மூலி போற்ற. கனகமேனியன் பனக சயனன். கஞ்சமுடன் பதஞ்சலி மூலி போற்ற. அனவரதம் கனக சபையுள். அனவரதம் கனக சபையுள். ஆடி மறைகள் नागर माधव दाव विभो करो नागर माधव देव दया निजे देवकी नंदन राव विभो करो माधव देव दया निजे देवकी नंदन राव विभो हे करुणाकर दीन जलोधर हे करुणाकर दीन जलोधर हा भव दुस्तर या तुनी बुद्धर हा भव दुस्तर या तुनी बुद्धर राव विभो करुणाकर माधव देव दया निजे देवकी नंदन राव विभो जनन मरण भय हरण करी त्वरे 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 जनन मरण भय चरणी शरण चर केशव किंकर चरणी शरण चर केशव किंकर राव विभो करो नागर माधव देव दया निजे देवकी नंदन राव विभो
The Bhakti Bhava of MS, immeasurable in its breadth and depth, found a rhythmic variation in her Desha Bhakti, the devotion to her motherland.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to present the artist of the evening, Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to some extraordinarily good music today, though it may have sounded exotic to some of you. The fact that this concert is so well attended shows at the same time how receptive we are at the United Nations to new experiences. The enthusiastic reception accorded to Srimati Subbulakshmi and our associates proves, if proof were needed, that music knows no geographical boundaries. It speaks a universal language which has an appeal to all of us. I must take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the Government of India, whose generosity has made it possible for us to have this musical feast this afternoon. I hope that Shrimati Subbulakshmi and her group will have a successful visit and a pleasant stay in this country. Thank you very much.
I now request Shri Bala of Class 8 to deliver the vote of thanks.
Namaskaram. We, the students of Bhavan Rajaji Vidyashram, thank SPIC MACAY for this wonderful opportunity to participate in this program. We wish to thank the supporters of SPIC MACAY, SRF Foundation, Anand Bajaj Foundation, Lal Family Foundation. We also thank Dr. Kiran Seth, founder SPIC MACAY, volunteers from Tamil Nadu chapter, and the organizers of the Great Masters event of SPIC MACAY. Next week, we invite you all to join us for the Great Masters program at the same time on the same link. Our other weekly programs are a cinema classic on Friday evenings at 6 p.m., classical evening series on Saturday evening at 6 p.m., and a craft, talk, folk series on Sunday at 12 noon, all of which are free on our Zoom link. Thank you all for joining this insightful session. Once again, we thank Vidwan R.K. Shriramkumar for spending this afternoon with us. Have a great evening. Namaskaram.